At the end of this video, you've built your own chatbot with Streamlit, and this chatbot is going to answer questions based on documents you provided. And we're also going to work with a semantic database that we haven't used before, and that's Pinecone. Now, Pinecone runs fully in the cloud, and this means that we can actually use it in production. Now, before we dive into the code, I want to take a moment to explain you what RAG actually is and why it is so popular. Now, the concept of RAG was first introduced in this paper in 2021. I'm gonna assume that most of you know how expensive and how complex it is to train your own large language model or even to fine-tune it. And that is exactly why RAG was introduced. So I'm gonna explain RAG with a very simple example. There is a user and the user wants to know what the color of a banana is. So everything starts with the user asking what is the color of banana. And this question is then sent to a semantic database. Now this semantic database will try to find texts in the database that are similar to the question. So it will try to find text with the word banana or maybe the word color. As you can see, we get like one result from the semantic database. A banana is a delicious yellow piece of fruit. So there is some information in this text which is not really relevant to our question. For example, that is very delicious, but there is also some relevant information here, such as the color of the banana. Now at this moment, we have only worked with the semantic database and we haven't made any call to the large language model yet. Now that's going to change because now we're going to make a call to a large language model and we're going to ask it, please answer the below question with the answer I'm providing you. So the question is still the same, what is the color of banana, and the answer we're also providing to the large language model, which is a banana is a delicious yellow piece of fruit. Now the large language model is going to use the answer that we are providing it to answer the question that we have just asked it, and the large language model is now going to answer the color of a banana is yellow. So before starting to build a chatbot, I first want to show you a really simple example of a semantic database, and I also want to show you how the retrieval process works, because the retrieval process is so important. Now, as usual, you can find all the Python scripts that we're going through today on my GitHub. So you can find all the scripts and all the installation instructions right here. Of course, if the script is useful for you, please don't forget to star it. And then let's navigate to Pinecone. And in order to follow this video, you're going to need a Pinecone account. So navigate to pinecone.io. And then you can create an account there that's entirely free. Then navigate to API keys. And this is where you're going to create an API key. So just give some kind of a description, click on create key. Copy the key, then you're going to rename the .env.example file to just .env, so remove .example, then paste your Pinecone API key right here, and you also need an OpenAI API key. You can get the OpenAI API key right here on platform.openai.com/API keys, create new secret key. So just make sure that you have those two API keys and you don't need anything more in order to follow this video. Then as soon as you've added the API keys right here, you've saved the document, then let's navigate to sample_ingestion.py. It's going to check whether the index already exists, and if it's not existing yet, it's going to create it, and it's going to create it with these specs. So you see here that the region is US East, it's hosted on AWS. And this is really important. You see here the dimension, which is 3072. And this dimension is related with the embedding model that we're going to use. So in a second, we're going to add these tags to the index. And for every text, the embedding model is going to generate some kind of code. And this code represents the semantic meaning of this text. And basically, the more dimensions this embedding has, the better it's able to represent the semantic meaning of this text. So you see here that dimension is 3072, and this is related to the embedding model. I'm just searching for the embedding model. This is the embedding model that we are using. So that's text embedding 3 large. It's a model from OpenAI. But if you are using another model, you can use another model, but then you also have to change the dimension. And I'm just going to navigate back to Pinecone because you can also manually generate a database. So if I navigate to database here, click on create index. Almost test like this, and then it's asking for the embedding model that we are using. And you see that if I select, for example, text embedding 3 small, this model has only 1536 dimensions, and the text embedding 3 large model that we are using at the moment has 3072. You can also use ADA 002, which also has 1536 dimensions. So the dimensions that you provide right here are related to the embedding model that you are using. And of course, we have to use the same embedding model for the ingestion, so for filling the database, as for the retrieval process. But I'm going to tell a bit more about that later. So the documents that we are adding, these are just example documents that are coming from the LangChain website. You see that you can also provide metadata. So for example, here there is a source, and you can use this metadata in order to filter. So you can ask your Retrieval Augmented Generation model to only fetch news or only fetch tweets, for examples. But you can as well use it in order to store information about the document where it's coming from, and ask your LLM to also provide the source where this piece of data is coming from. So adding metadata is really important, and the better you structure, the more information, of course, the RAG can provide to the end user. Then you see that we are adding all these documents to a list right here. And then there is one more thing that we need to do. We have to calculate a unique identifier for every document. I'm just doing this by here, starting with ID 0, ID 1, ID 2, etc., etc. And this will allow you to later edit or delete specific text if that's what you want. I'm going to execute this piece of code, and you will see that the index to which I'm ingesting these embeddings, that's going to be a sample index. And of course, for our chatbot, we're going to use a different index. So let's run this piece of code. It can take a few seconds, and now the embedding should be ingested into the database. So let's navigate to the database. And if you refresh the page, you should now see that an index has been created. So let's click here. Now you will see here that we have 10 results, and you will see that all the text have been loaded and have been embedded in the database. Okay, now comes the second part, and that's the retrieval process. So let's open sample_retrieval.py. This script is linked to the same index. You see here, sample index. We are initiating here the Pinecone database. And as I just mentioned, for the retrieval part, you need the same embeddings model. If you use a different embeddings model, it's not going to work. And you see that we create here an object which is the vector store, and this is basically the database that we are referring to. Now, the first thing that I want to show you is that it's really easy to do a similarity search. So this means that we are going to search for text that are similar to the text that we are providing. Then we are using this method here, similarity search with score. And that's because I also want to get back a score. And this score is going to tell us how similar the text that we are providing is with the text that it's retrieving. You can as well specify the number of rows that you want to get. For now, I'm just going to leave this out, but you can specify that you want to get like only 1 or maybe 3 texts. And if you go to the different embeddings, and you will see that this text is the text that has the most similarity with the question that we are asking. So let's run the script and let's see what we get back. And this is exactly why I want to show you this. We're getting back 4 texts which have some kind of similarity with the question that we asked. But I want you to take a look at this last number here, which is the similarity score. So of course, if I'm asking what did you have for breakfast, this is the first record that pops up, and it has a similarity score of 0.57. Now we get 3 other similar answers, but you see that the similarity score is really low. It's like lower than 0.05. So they are really not related to what we just asked. Now we can use this similarity score to filter on the records that we want to get. I'm just going to comment out this similarity search. So let's do it like this. And another component that LangChain is providing us, rather than the similarity search with score, is the retriever. Now, the retriever is something that you will use most of the time if you work with LangChain, because it is something that can be called and it's going to give back some results. Now, you will see here that the search method is similarity score with threshold. You'll see here that I want to get 5 results back. I will see that the score threshold is 0.5. So this is really important. So the records that were not relevant were were below this. And the record that was relevant was a bit higher than this, but just a bit higher, right? So you can change this number. 0.5 makes sense. 0.3 or 0.2 also makes sense. But just find something that you feel comfortable with. I'm just going to go with 0.5, and I'm going to ask the same question, and now you will see that we only get relevant answers. So let's try this out. And now you will see that even with the score threshold on 0.5, I still get a lot of records which are not really relevant. And this is probably because I left out the filter. So let's change this one to 0.6. Let's run the script again. And now you will see that we get only back 1 result, which is the relevant one. Okay, so that was a lot of theory. I think it's good that we didn't skip it, because the quality of the RAG that you're going to build highly depends on the ingestion process and as well the retrieval process. So let's start working with real-life data and let's start building our chatbot. So you've seen a demo of this process, but let's now do it with real documents and with a real chatbot. The document that I'm going to use in this demo is this one. It's the research paper about Retrieval Augmented Generation. So how this script works, everything that you store in this folder, documents, is going to ingest in the database. So you will see that we create a new index right here. The name of the index you can define in the .env file. And then as soon as the index has been created, we're going to load all the PDF files in the documents folder. Then you see here text splitter. So this text splitter, recursive characters text splitter, this is a component from LangChain, and it's gonna chunk all the text in the PDF file in chunks of 800 characters. You see as well that there is an overlap of 400, and this basically means that every chunk overlaps the other chunk. So in case a text is split in the middle, we should also have a chunk that contains all the information. And this is where we use the text splitter in order to generate the chunks from the URL documents. We call them documents. You've seen this little script earlier where we generate a unique identifier for every chunk, and then we add them to the database. So the script is entirely the same as the script that you've seen earlier. The only difference is that we now as well have an actual document and that we are going to chunk that document into smaller parts. Then let's run the script in order to start the ingestion process. And as soon as the ingestion has finalized, let's navigate to the Pinecone database. Let's F5 the page, and you will see now that there are two indexes. And this is the one that we've just created, LangChain sample index. Now you will see that we have now 165 records. And you will also see that there is way more metadata. So you see that there is the source here, which is the name of the PDF file. There is a producer, basically anything that has been retrieved out of the PDF file. And as you can see, there is as well a page here. So if you provide the page, the source, etc., then you can as well ask the large language model to as well provide a source about the information that is providing to you, so that you can check if it's correct. Now you see that there is as well a field text, and this is where the actual text is stored that the RAG is going to use. Let's navigate back to VS Code, because now we have done the ingestion process. I also want to show again the retrieval process, but this time we're going to ask something about this document. So you see this entire Python file is exactly the same as the other retrieval Python file. Here you see that I have a score threshold of 0.5, and my question is, what is Retrieval Augmented Generation? So let's run this file. And if I scroll up, you see now all the different chunks that have something to do with Retrieval Augmented Generation. And I think if I remove KS5 here, it's probably going to give us way more documents about Retrieval Augmented Generation. So for now, we see that the retrieval method is working. So let's navigate to the actual chatbot. Now the chatbot that you see here is exactly the same chatbot as we've built in one of my previous videos. So if you want to know exactly how it works, then definitely check out that video. For now, I'm just going to show you a couple of things. So of course, we're going to start with a system message. You are an assistant for question answering tasks. Then you will see here that we get the input from the user. And as soon as we receive the input from the user, then we're going to append this to the messages. And then this is where we initiate the LLM, the large language model. It also has a temperature, etc., etc. And then you see here that we use the same retriever that we've also used in the previous script. We invoke the retriever, and then we're going to combine all the documents together in docs_text. And then you see here that we provide a second system prompt. And in this system prompt, we're going to as well add the context. And docs_text is, of course, the combination of all the documents that we have retrieved from the retriever. And then you see here that I put the system prompt on the screen just because I want to see based on what it is answering me. And then you will see here that I append the system prompt to the Streamlit messages. And because I'm only putting the messages from either the human or the AI message on the screen, this system prompt is then not shown to the user. And that's of course because the human is only interested in the answer. Human is not interested in like how everything works on the backside. Okay, so now in the messages, we have now the message from the user. So this is the actual question. And then we have the system prompt that includes all the answers that we have just retrieved from the semantic database. And then this is where we invoke the large language model. We provide the entire chain, like everything that happens. So the question from the user, the system message that includes everything that we have retrieved from the semantic database. And then this is where we then add to the screen the answer from the large language model. So let's try this out. And you can run this file by typing streamlit run and the name of the Python file, which is chatbot_rag.py. Press enter. And the chatbot will then appear on our screen. Now, if I just type hello, this will also trigger the retrieval process, and you will see that we are actually providing information to the large language model, which it can use in order to answer. But the large language model is smart enough in this case in order to not use this information, so it's just going to ignore it. And now let's try to ask an actual question about retrieval augmented generation, and let's see if it answers with the answers that we are providing it. And now there is something that I want to show you. I'm just going to copy this sec to sec because this is a very specific term. I'm going to search it here in the console, and then you will see that sec to sec is something that is coming from this paper. So you will see that the chatbot is actually answering based on the information that it received from the paper. Now, I really hope this video was useful for you. If it was, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you back in one of my next videos.